At 5, a cat invasion for one Inglewood neighborhood.
The neighbors are fed up now. The cats are attracting coyotes, and that's not good.
They be on top of the house. You think an earthquake is coming, it'd be them. I'm just tired. I want something done about it.
You know, there are certain stories that are just so funny by the headline alone that they are deserving of a video over here on the Actual Justice Warrior channel. And this particular story definitely pays due. You have neighbors in Inglewood, which is in and around the Los Angeles area, absolutely fed up over the idea that they are being invaded by small cats. And those small cats are actually drawing in pretty big coyotes. And the local news segment on this takes this issue very, very seriously. But at the same time, the people who are editing this video and uploading it to YouTube are taking this anything but seriously. In fact, if you look at the description of the local news video from the local ABC affiliate over in Los Angeles, you will find one of the most absurd descriptions that you could possibly have for a story that is fundamentally about an animal infestation. Again, let us go to that really quickly, and you need to understand that this is why I decided to break down this story in such excruciating detail. Neighborhoods say when night falls, it's like a stray cat zombie apocalypse, which they believe is attracting coyotes into the area. You know, as we're going to find out throughout the course of this particular video, it's actually a serious situation in this area. The cats are obviously making a mess. They end up hounding the neighbors because they expect to be fed, and the coyotes are actually not only threatening the stray cats, it's not a situation where nature is addressing nature, they're actually threatening the pets in this particular community, which seems to have a lot of elderly people in there, and it's actually quite sad that these elderly people can't rely on the systems in a democratically run state, in a democratically run city, in order to deal with this without going to the local news. But we're going to get into all of this in just a little bit. As for now, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Call it a cat infestation.
I would call it a cat, like some type of zombie thing that's going on.
Dennis Gary says when night falls in his Los Angeles neighborhood, it's like a stray cat zombie apocalypse.
So right from the jump, we end up hearing from the neighbor who referred to this as a stray cat zombie apocalypse. Now, of course, he actually said a stray cat, whatever, zombie, whatever, when night falls, and then the local news affiliate decided that they were gonna punch up what he said, but we end up seeing photos of all these different various cats in and around this neighborhood, and as somebody who lives in New York City, and in a place in New York City where there's not very many rats in comparison to other places in New York City, I can say that these cats in my neighborhood would be comparatively a welcome sight, because typically when you get a lot of cats, you have less of the rats, and I think that's a positive thing. But you know what? The people in this neighborhood, they feel like they're being terrorized by these zombie cats when night falls, even though they showed us a photo of the cats during the daytime.
Dennis says he's witnessed upwards of 100 cats prowling the neighborhood.
Not scared of people that's walking around. Something is wrong.
So we end up hearing from this same neighbor about how off-put he is by the fact that these cats aren't even scared of people. He walked by them and they just come up to you looking to be pet. And I just want to point out that cats have been pets for thousands of years to humans. So it's actually not that unusual for cats to not be scared of people. Now sure, stray cats probably a bit more skittish by comparison. But yeah, this guy is like freaking out because the cats aren't scared of him, when in reality, we keep cats as pets. Human beings do. Especially single 45-year-old feminist women. So like in reality, this is not all that unusual. And in fact, one of the things I would investigate in and around this area is if there was a childless, nose ring bearing, overweight 45-year-old feminist, because what could have actually happened is that she could have passed away and the cats could have escaped from her home and basically plagued this neighborhood after they ended up eating their master. And yes, I put that gross image in your mind. You're welcome for that. We're having fun on this particular story, but it's about to get even more goofy.
We saw animal services in the area knocking on doors, investigating the problem. A resident fed up with cats invading the community sent Eyewitness News pictures of the kitties out and about. Dennis says sometimes late at night, it's as if the cats literally knock on his door.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm hearing scratches. I'm wondering, what is this? So I open the door, and the cats just scatter like roaches.
Now you guys might be thinking, Sean, why are you covering this story? Why are you covering this particular local news segment out of Los Angeles? And in reality, it's for that reason right there. This guy knows that there are hundreds of cats in his neighborhood. He said at 1 o'clock in the morning, they were scratching up on his door, and he was like, I wonder what could that be? And obviously, it was the cats. It's the cats that you're complaining about. It's the cats that you've said were already a problem prior to this encounter. And then he's like, and then I open the door, and they scatter, not like cats, like roaches. No, bro, they scattered like cats, like scared cats, scaredy cats, if you will. That's what ended up occurring. Now, of course, they ended up interviewing another neighbor, and this all to me sounds so ridiculous.
It's a nuisance because they run around through the neighborhood and behind your house and everything.
So the next guy they interview in the car is like, yeah, the cats, they're in your front yard, they're in your backyard. And again, I will point out, for the people in this particular city, those be the things that cats be doing. That's typical. That is something normal. Like, cats do not respect the boundaries of your front yard or your backyard. That is typically how it goes. But eventually we end up getting to the heart of the matter, and this appears to be what has drawn in so many cats into this area.
Residents complain someone in the neighborhood has been overfeeding the cats, attracting them to the area.
So yeah, this is finally something that's actionable. This is finally something that we can observe, figure out who's doing it, and end up holding them accountable for their actions, which is making this neighborhood just a little bit worse. Apparently somebody in the area is overfeeding the cats. Again, unsurprising to anybody, except for the people in this particular neighborhood who would appear to have no context at all whatsoever for anything related to cats, and they're shocked by the fact that the cats go in their backyard without their permission. Again, weird, insane, ridiculous. But yeah, somebody in the neighborhood is feeding them. That is drawing the animals in. And again, this is not surprising that this kind of thing is going on, because remember, a part of the soft on crime agenda is a soft on public order agenda, and this is something that public order enforcement would prevent somebody from doing typically. But here, it's not what's going down. But of course, we end up hearing from more neighbors, and honestly, genuinely, this next neighbor is the exact reason why I did the segment. The whole video that you're watching right now is based on this next clip.
We talked to this person, wanted her identity shielded. She says over the last several months, the cats have multiplied to the degree she can't even enjoy a cool night on her porch.
They come out in droves, and it's awful. It's really awful. We can't enjoy our retirement. We can sit on our porch.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, Sean, why would that lady, of all the interviews in this particular segment, make you want to dedicate an entire video to cats in this Inglewood neighborhood? And the reason why, and you might have missed it, especially if you're a podcast listener, is due to the fact that this woman concealed her identity for this local news interview.
We talked to this person, wanted her identity shielded.
Now, this is not something that we're unfamiliar with on this channel. Oftentimes, I talk about the reasons why people will hide their identity when being interviewed by the local news, and typically what it has to do with is the idea that gangbangers or people affiliated with the criminal that is the subject of said segment will use the fact that they spoke to the media as a justification to target them later on. But this woman is hiding her identity in a segment about cats. This woman is shielding her identity, her face, doesn't want to appear on camera because she's worried about the gang of cats watching it on the TV, getting angry at her and tracking her down. I just found this to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to be perfectly honest. The fact that this woman feels like her neighborhood, Inglewood, which is pretty sketch, is so sketch that she needed to obscure her identity, even in a local news segment where they're talking about cats in the neighborhood, to me, that's pretty ridiculous. That shows you how low trust this society, this neighborhood actually is, that the woman doesn't even feel safe snitching on cats on the local news without fear of retaliation.
Residents say what they call a cat infestation is only one part of the problem. They say the other part of the problem is the cats are drawing in coyotes. We found cat remains in a resident's yard. This the result of a coyote attack, which the resident's surveillance cameras recorded. She shared the graphic video with Eyewitness News. She says neighbors have spotted coyotes roaming the neighborhood in packs, looking to dine on a buffet of cats.
They travel in pairs now. Yeah. So people who do have animals keeping them indoors.
Again, you never realize the value of certain law enforcement until it's taken away. They stopped enforcing a lot of public order crimes in places like Los Angeles, in neighborhoods like this. So what you ultimately end up with is somebody breaking with norms, drawing in a bunch of different various cats to this particular neighborhood in the evening. And while that is an inconvenience, while that is a problem, while that shocks many of the black residents in this particular area because the cats somehow get in their backyard, the coyotes that follow, nature ending up compensating for this particular issue, ends up creating an even bigger problem for the people right here. And maybe, just maybe, this old lady is shielding her identity from coyotes that will watch her on TV. But who knows? I honestly have no explanation for why she's hiding her identity, other than the fact that maybe she thinks if she reveals that she lives in this neighborhood, somebody in said neighborhood will just break into her house and rob her, because that's how hood this particular area of Los Angeles actually is. But yeah, this is what happens. This is not the normal, typical consequence of lax public enforcement, but coyotes invading your modern Western neighborhood, you becoming more third world with animal attacks in your particular area, all based on the idea that we let certain things in our society break down, like public order, and this was cheered on by the activist class in your very same state.
Today, animal control officers visited the property, and animal control officers will be following up with the resident to ensure that they are in compliance with city ordinances and to offer resources. Sounds like they're looking in particular at whoever might be feeding the cats.
So we get a statement from animal control in and around this area, and they say, we are looking into the specific residents that we received a call about. This would likely be the feeder of the cats in this particular neighborhood. But then they say, we're going to make sure that they're compliant with all city ordinances and also offer them resources. What the hell do you mean offer them resources? What is going on in left-wing cities? Are we now going to pretend that the person who's feeding the cats to the extent that they're showing up, also leading to coyotes coming to this neighborhood, is doing so because they're an innocent Baba Angel Aladdin just trying to feed their starving family? Is this potentially an issue involving the Haitians, something that the evil orange man brought up, where they're feeding the cats just to lure them in for Sunday dinner?
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Seriously, what the hell are we talking about? What are we even discussing with animal control? You gotta write some tickets, have some enforcement, and maybe start catching these cats so the coyotes stop coming for the feast. You know, sensible, logical things that you would expect from animal control that for whatever reason seem to be absolutely impossible in the city of Los Angeles, and this is just more proof positive that the city is breaking down. Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the cat/coyote takeover of Los Angeles. Till next time.